All right, everybody. Hello. I'm still working while you guys are done, but I want to go over plot diagrams. This is going to be very important for character analysis and for us to be able to kind of pick apart our stories a little bit better, but also improve and organize our writing. So in a plot diagram, it looks like this. So if you guys would draw this on your paper. So in our plot diagram, it's kind of like a story, right? We got the beginning, we got the middle, we got the end. Okay, that's the simple part of a plot diagram. But in the more complex part of our plot diagram, we have what we call the exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and our resolution. Don't mind my handwriting, it's a little sloppy on the board. But these are the pieces that we have in a plot diagram. Now, in your exposition, here is where we should be meeting at least one of your characters and we're getting our settings set up. So in order to remember this, I like to draw a little line and put setting and character or characters. Maybe with an S. Maybe you're introducing more than one character, or maybe the author of the story you're reading introduced more than one character. Now, this needs to be descriptive. Here, we need you to paint the setting. I don't want to just see forest. I want to see words that describe the forest to me. So in your setting, you need to make sure you use lots of descriptions to tell me, what does it look like? You need to give me the mind movie of what the setting of your story is. Our characters. I need to know what your characters are like. What are their personalities? What kind of characteristics do they have? What are some interesting traits maybe that they have? But we need to describe them. I need to learn about your character. The rising action. Here is where we might see who our protagonists and antagonist are. So here's where maybe we learn who the good guy and who the bad guy is. Maybe you introduce another character. Maybe something happens, like maybe your antagonist is a giant hurricane that's hitting the town and the town's not ready for it. But either way, it has to be a situation that starts to work us towards the biggest part of our action. So here at the climax, it is action-packed. This is where we see the most, okay? This tells us all the different events that have happened have led us to this point right here. So once we get to this, there has to be some kind of falling action. So this is where we're starting to work through some of those issues that we might have seen during the problem or during the rising action and into the climax, where here we need now just maybe some things to help resolve issues. So resolving some issues, which eventually gets us to our final resolution. So here is where we end our story. So this is what we call a plot diagram. So in your plot diagrams, these are what I need to see. So if you need to replay the video, watch this again, take some notes on it this time around, I would highly recommend doing that because it's going to be very important that you understand not only how to use a plot diagram when you're reading, but also when you're writing. Because as you guys know, you guys are working to tell me a story that is 100 years from now. So that's what we should be working towards. That is our goal for the plot diagram for this class. Remember, I'm in the chat. I'm here if you need me. So make sure to ask your questions and be sure and clear of what to do. You will need to either use your whiteboard that came in your learner's kit, or you'll need to use a piece of paper to draw your plot diagram for your story. And I want you to start adding in these pieces. Another way to do this as well is, let's say with the characters, like here, you could even draw yourself a little arrow and put your descriptions over here. So let me turn that a little bit so you can see. So you could write out descriptions. So I could say 12-year-old boy. I could put giant robot. Maybe I want to add in a 12-year-old girl. And these are going to be the basic characteristics of my characters. But when I'm writing, I want to describe them better. So as for notes and for the plot diagram, you guys can just keep it general. But once we start getting into expanding our writing, you guys will not describe them like this. You'll actually write out descriptions of who they are, what they like to do, what they're doing in your story, what's happening with them, what are things that are developing to help get them up to this point up here. So it's going to be very important that you start really thinking about those characters and that setting, because in order to write this story, you're going to need to use that descriptive language. So I look forward to seeing your guys' plot diagrams. The way you'll do it is you'll take a picture with your iPad and you will send over to my email, which I will make sure to put in the chat. So I hope that your guys' writing, you're taking it seriously. And, you know, if you have questions, remember, don't be afraid to ask them. We want this story and your grade to be the best possible grade possible. Thank you.